Laudato Si, paragraph 237. On Sunday, our participation in the Eucharist has special importance. Sunday, like the Jewish Sabbath. Sunday, like the Jewish Sabbath. Sunday, like the Jewish Sabbath, is meant to be a day which heals our relationship with God, with ourselves, with others, and with the world. It also proclaims man's eternal rest in God.
Watch this.
November 18, 2025. Pope Leo puts on pressure for universal Sunday law to combat climate change. It's very interesting that Pope Leo released a statement November 18 saying that we need some concrete urgent action now to save the environment. And Rome has the ultimate proposal, the ultimate solution for this ecological emergency. We must respond by Sunday rest enforcement. But this is just merely scratching the surface. Revelation 17 verse 18. And the woman which thou sawest is that great city which reigneth over the kings of the earth. Let us first start in November 7, 2025. A global plan to transform our world is unfolding, guided by the Antichrist. November 7, 2025, during the United Nations Climate Conference, COP30. In Belém, Brazil, Cardinal Pietro Parolin, the Vatican Secretary of State, delivered a message on behalf of the Pope. Pope Leo called upon the world's political and financial leaders to commit to building a new international economic order, one founded on solidarity, ecological conversion, and the common good. Three central doctrines of Roman Catholic social teaching. Rome was not really satisfied with the commitment of the nation now. That is why, in November 18, 2025, the Antichrist blessed the world with an urgent message.
I greet the particular churches of the Global South, gathered at the Amazonian Museum of Belém, joining the prophetic voice of my brother cardinals who have taken part in COP30, telling the world with words and gestures that the Amazon region remains a living symbol of creation with an urgent need for care. You chose hope and action over despair, building a global community that works together. This has delivered progress, but not enough, but not enough, but not enough. Hope and determination must be renewed, not only in words and aspirations, but also in concrete actions. In concrete actions.
The video says, you choose hope and action over despair, building a global community that works together. This has delivered progress, but not enough. This is what he said. Hope and determination must be renewed not only in words and aspirations, but also in concrete actions. The Antichrist is screaming concrete action now and saying this is not enough. We need concrete actions. Wow. Let me interpret this in an honest interpretation of Bible prophecy. We need concrete actions now based on Roman Catholic teachings.
Words of God's creation, we are called to act swiftly with faith and prophecy to protect the gift He entrusted to us. The Paris Agreement has driven real progress and remains our strongest tool for protecting people and the planet. But we must be honest. It is not the agreement that is failing. We are failing. We are failing. We are failing in our response. What is failing is the political will of some.
It is not the agreement that is failing. We are failing in our response. What is failing is the political will of some. Do you feel this, dear friends, of what he is saying? What agreement is the Antichrist talking about? Laudato Si, paragraph 72. And then Pope Francis makes statements about the Sabbath. The biblical tradition clearly shows that this renewal entails recovering and respecting the rhythms inscribed in nature by the hand of the Creator. We see this, for example, in the law of the Sabbath. On the seventh day, God rested from all His work. He commanded Israel to set aside each seventh day as a day of rest, a Sabbath. Genesis 2:2-3, Exodus 16:23, and Exodus 20 verse 10. Similarly, every 7 years, a sabbatical year was set aside for Israel, a complete rest for the land. Laudato Si, paragraph 237. On Sunday, our participation in the Eucharist has special importance. Sunday, like the Jewish Sabbath, is meant to be a day which heals our relationship with God, with ourselves, with others, and with the world. Sunday is the day of resurrection, the first day of the new creation, whose first fruits are the Lord's risen humanity, the pledge of the final transfiguration of all created reality. It also proclaims man's eternal rest in God. So when the Pope says it's not the agreement that is failing, we are failing in response, what is failing is the political will of some, what he is really saying is that nations don't have a political will to enforce the universal day of rest. And the more you delay, the more you are responsible to God. Here's proof. VaticanNews.va. Pope, God will ask us if we have cared for our common home. Pope Leo addressed participants in an international conference of climate justice and reflect Pope Francis's landmark ecological encyclical Laudato Si, noting that when the time comes, God will ask us if we cared for our common home. What will be our answer? Concluding his address, God will ask us if we have cultivated and cared for the world that He created, and if we have taken care of our brothers and sisters. What will be our answer now? Let me interpret it in prophetic light. What will be your answer to the mandatory Sunday rest in saving the environment? Will you choose Sunday, the mark of the beast, or God's seal on creation, the Sabbath? The Bible clearly states in Genesis 2 verse 3, God blessed the seventh day and sanctified it before sin entered. Sanctified means to be set apart for holy use. Adam and Eve are the only human being at creation for whom the Sabbath was set apart. Adam and Eve were not Jewish. So therefore, an honest study of Genesis 1 and 2, when the Sabbath was created, there were no Jews and there was no sin. Jesus made clear the ultimate confusion about the Sabbath and who is it for. Mark 2 verse 27 says, the Sabbath was made for man. He made a clear statement that the Sabbath was made for man. The Greek word here used is anthropos, where we get the word anthropology, the study of mankind. Dearest friends, even though Pope Leo XIV promises that his new human-centered international financial architecture will be for everyone, it will ultimately consolidate power in the hands of a few. By presenting himself as the savior of economics rather than a savior of souls, the Antichrist plan will not only to seek manage wealth and resources, it will also serve as the enforcement mechanism in determining who can buy or sell during the mark of the beast crisis described in Revelation 13. The bottom line here, dear friends, is to exalt Jesus as our Creator. And we must be good stewards of His creation, of course. But God is looking forward for us to spend eternity, not on this earth, but on the new heavens and the new earth. For now, we are all stewards of creation, yes, but we are also candidates for heaven. But soon will be citizens of heaven.